This is a C# tutorial support video for the first object-oriented programming challenge where you have to implement your own method for an animal class. So you are given a class called animal, and each instance of the animal class has a species and a noise. So these are attributes, they're like variables that belong to each instance of the animal class. We need to define a method, which is like a procedure or a function, a subprogram, some behavior that each instance of the animal class, each object of type animal, can do. So it needs to be public because we want to be able to call it from a different class. It should return a string because it describes what noise the animal makes. And the name of the method is makeNoise. It doesn't need any parameters. It gets all the data it needs from the attributes of the class already. Okay, so it returns a string. The string should be something like a dinosaur went raw. But instead of literally saying dinosaur all the time, we want to use the attribute that stores what species it is. And instead of saying raw all the time, we want to say what noise it makes. So because we've used this syntax here, we need to pre-process that string and replace anything in the curly braces with the variables, the attributes in this case. And this will almost work, but I don't think it will work just yet. Let's have a look and see why. So it says, an animal with a species of cow and a noise of moo should return a cow went moo, but our method just said a cow went moo. So if you spot the difference here, it should have quotation marks, and ours at the moment doesn't. So if we wrap this around in quotation marks, we're going to have some problems because the string literal starts and ends with double quotes, and we can't have them inside the string literal unless we escape them with a backslash. So we're getting closer, but it does say that the return value is in lowercase, except for that first A, first capital letter here. So you might be tempted to do something like species equals species dot to lower and noise equals noise dot to lower to convert it to upper or lowercase, but that's not going to work for you because you're not allowed to modify the attribute values. That kind of defeats the point of it. You want to be able to use the values without changing them. So you have to do that in here. Or I suppose you could make an extra local variable and do it in there, which would also be fine. But hopefully that should work. Great.